Good Saturday afternoon to you, Roger Hill of Wuthering Heights. This weather video is driven by 802cars.com, representing 802 Toyota, Twin Cities Subaru, and 802 Honda, all located off of exit 7 on Interstate 89. Looking at a ridge of higher pressure beginning to build into the region, pushing in, and not before a little bit of sort of mixed rain and snow showers, some mixed precipitation types across the northern tier. This is now in the process of working its way out, and we're looking at better, drier conditions for the rest of this day here on Saturday. Couple things to note here. We're going to talk tropics. We're not done with the tropical storm IOTA that is forecast or projected to become a Cat 1 and then a Cat 2 heading toward Honduras and then crossing the Central American landmass and then dumping out into the Pacific eventually. That will be the last potential storm. We'll have to wait and see. Looking at strongest winds, this is a trough of lower pressure that's pushing on in. This is one of the systems that's going to move on by after this ridge passes, and this is going to be our weather that's going to be moving in on Sunday. It's a fairly potent area of low pressure that will be tracking from the Great Lakes into the central areas of Quebec. The pressure gradient will tighten up, and we're looking at some southeasterly winds for a period of time that's relatively short. We're talking probably somewhere between around 4 o'clock start in the afternoon on Sunday and continuing into Sunday evening, and then letting up. A bit of westerly winds will follow for a secondary burst, it looks like, in the southern Green Mountains Sunday evening. That'll be followed by west to northwesterly winds. These impacts look to be fairly minor, however, with wind gusts in the range of 35, potentially 45 miles per hour on Monday, and mostly during the morning into the early afternoon hours. That second flare-up of wind is not expected to be impactful. Looking at the European incrementals, you can see a little bit of precipitation here in the form of kind of mixed precipitation, little hints of greens, a little bit of blue, indicating snow. Before this area of higher pressure begins to build into the region, this is how it sets up. That area of higher pressure crosses through during the night tonight. Unfortunately, not good for anybody. It's just to allow for a free fall in temperature tonight, so very cold overnight lows. That'll set the stage for a gradual rise of temperature. Now, that area of higher pressure is strengthened by that colder air that's working on in that particular air mass. And as it moves off to the east, the pressure gradient tightens up with this area of low pressure. It's going to be tracking into central Quebec. And here we go. This is going to be relatively late in the day. So we get a period of southerly winds before a secondary low kind of forms in New Hampshire right there. And that's going to shut things down. A little bit of a westerly burst of winds in the far southern Green Mountains. That's going to be about the last of it. So out of the southeast, it looks like during the late part of the day into the evening hours, and then that will switch to southwest to westerly as it blows on in across the southern Green Mountains, and that could affect the eastern slopes. Both these characteristics of these winds look to be fairly strong. We're talking marginally strong to strong in that sort of 40 to 60 mile per hour range. Best impacts or projected impacts potentially along the western slopes of the Green Mountains. A little bit of a curveball, though. This looks like we're also going to see that incoming rainfall and that precipitation will buffer some of the areas just off the valley floors. So it's going to be kind of a fairly narrow geography as it looks right now. It's something we'll have to keep a close eye on with future heads-ups. That moves on out. Then we get a little bit of stringers of some snow showers on as we get into Monday. And you can see it'll last into Tuesday, a fairly cold air mass in place at this point, swung in by this trough of lower pressure. And finally, we got some areas of higher pressure beginning to build into the region. You can see a little bit of a secondary trough that kind of works on through Tuesday night. And then by Wednesday, that area of higher pressure, 1034 hectopascal, 1032 hectopascal, further north of the Great Lakes is going to be pushing in. This should afford us some generally decent weather, fair weather, a nice little stretch for basically Wednesday and Thursday. And beyond that, maybe into Friday. But we're looking at a little bit of a warm front here. This 1034 hectopascal surface low, high pressure system rather, will then push off to the south. That'll open the door for a little bit more of a pressure gradient that'll develop on Friday. And there may be some southerly channeling winds in some parts of the Champlain Valley at that point in time. Right now, nothing to worry about at this point. And then you can see the next little shortwave trough producing a little bit of warm air advection with some rain or rain shower activity working in on Friday and so forth. Looking beyond the period, nothing of any great shakes at this point. Kind of a baroclinic zone on Saturday. That's valid at 12Z, 8 o'clock in the morning on Saturday morning on the 21st, beyond the period. 3-hourly QPF, looking at the GFS Canadian Ensemble data, you can see that the main issue is going to be late in the day on Sunday, and this is going to be carrying over into the evening hours, and then precipitation gets cut off. How much precip? Well, we're looking at about this much here for the total QPF. It's about a half an inch or so. And the next setup is a little bit more down the road a piece once we get on the other side of this as we head into this coming weekend. But overall, it's just one main bout. Again, the 3-hourly QPF kind of indicates that fairly nicely. Total accumulated precipitation by the Weather Prediction Center for the next 7 days. We're running about anywhere from an inch to about a half inch in this kind of mode here. And this is actually just a little bit below normal for this time of year. Quick look at temperatures here, the overall trends here across the northern parts of the Arctic, but not all. Greenland is colder than normal, above normal temperatures up here. It's been kind of pushing in colder than normal weather into the western part of Canada, and some of that gets into the western United States with these troughs of low pressure that kind of wiggle on through. At 850 hectopascal, about the top of Mount Mansfield, this is the temperature schematic here. So you can see that we go above normal with the rain that moves in, and the timing is mostly all rain. A little bit of wet snow at the leading edge of that at onset. But over toward Essex County, there are some indications that there could be maybe some small amounts of accumulation in some of the highlands of the Northeast Kingdom. Now, that temperature then falls as we get into colder weather, the coldest of which will be associated with that stronger air mass, that colder air mass, that'll work in basically for Wednesday and Thursday later next week. And then we get a warming trend and do it all over again. So right now we're running about 3 degrees below normal. Here's neutral, and then this is above normal temperatures. This is the meteorological output statistics for the next 5 days, or MOS. The MOS output 3 days later looks like this. Not a whole lot of change. Fairly stable. Okay, for the tropics, we're not done. Theta is headed out toward Madeira. IOTA is headed for the Honduran coast. Neither of these are going to be a threat to North America, as indicated here. And just for kicks, we're looking at the total amount of snow for 2021 season here. So we went above normal. This is, again, for North America, the total of North America. And this is what it looks like right now. Notice that we kind of lost some snow, and then it's kind of very, variable. And there's our snow cover currently right now, snow cover and snow depths. It's mainly across mostly western Canada into Alaska and so forth. That's it from here. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, folks.